What's going on, YouTube? JT User One here, and welcome to the fourth and I guess final episode of the Rambo Rewatch. Yeah, there's only 5 movies in this series. Well, the 5th one comes out this week, but there's not that many to do, and we're here. 20 years later, after Rambo 3, we got the 4th entry in the Rambo film franchise, known simply as Rambo. Like, okay, come on, for God's sakes, why is this just called Rambo? Just call it Rambo 4, or call it John Rambo. It's so fucking confusing, because the first movie's First Blood, then it's Rambo, First Blood Part 2, then it's Rambo 3, and then you just call this one Rambo. Good God, Stallone. If they called it John Rambo, it would have been perfectly fine, but calling it just Rambo is just really dumb. Now I have to call it like Rambo 2008 in the video. But, yeah, so let's talk about this movie. Now, I hadn't seen this one in a long time. I remember this being one of the most violent movies I'd ever seen, and rewatching it, like, Jesus fucking Christ, holy shit, man, this is definitely up there with it's in the top 10 most violent movies I think I've ever seen. At least in terms of action movies, it's probably like the most violent I've ever seen. I mean, this is a fucked up movie. Like, you definitely see the dark side of war and carnage in this film. I mean, it is a hard fucking R. These villains this time around, like, these definitely feel like, because whereas the other ones felt more like movie villains, these felt like more real-life sadistic psychopaths that you'd see, like, committing all sorts of horrible acts on different people. I know this is based on, this one's set in Burma, and Rambo's out there just wrangling cobras and just kind of just off on his own. He hasn't really made peace with his demons entirely. I thought that's what he was going to do by the end of 3 and maybe go back home. But no, this time around he's just in Burma catching cobras, and there's like a peace group that goes to try and aid this village because like all these horrible things that are happening to these like women and children and all these other people who are just, they're just trying to bring some medicine and help out where they can. And Rambo decides to take them upriver. They get upriver, immediately you see these horrible, disgusting villains. Like, these villains are just, man, you want to spit on the screen. Like, I was even clenching my fists, like, oh Jesus, like it made me angry watching it because of the horrible things that these villains would do to people. Like, the other ones, it was like, oh yeah, it was pretty tame, like nothing. But this one, it's like, Jesus Christ, man. Oh my God, like, this is so fucking violent. Like, these people are so sadistic, and they have basically like no remorse for human life or any decency or anything, any good qualities that you'd find in a human being. These villains this time around are just not that. I mean, they don't have much, they don't really say much, like, but you just see their actions. That's all they have to say. Like, they're not like an iconic villain movie performance, I'd say, but you don't forget the sadistic things that these people do. And the realism this time around is a lot more like, bodies are being ripped apart, people's arms are getting chopped off. There's even one part where they chuck an innocent child, like they're stabbing kids in this one. I'm like, oh my God, and then they chuck one into a child into a fire, and I just like had to like put my hand over my mouth, like, oh my God, this is so messed up. Like, it's shocking. It is just a shocking movie to watch because it's so violent and it's so gory. And it just makes you want to see Rambo kill these guys and just put arrows through them and just, you know, see them get their comeuppance. And they certainly do. Rambo this time around, like, he gets involved. Like, at one point you're watching these, like, disgusting human beings. I know they're just actors playing roles, but I guess they're supposed to be, like, I guess a lot of it's more realistic, and it's more based around, like, I know it's, like, this one's set in Burma, and apparently Burma is a really messed up place, like, from what I heard. I know this movie got banned in that country, but I know, like, some of the rebels in that end of the country really embraced this movie. And you don't forget this movie. I mean, you don't forget, like, the violence, the levels of violence you see in this film. I mean, my goodness gracious. I know, like, the first part of this video is just me talking about the violence, but man, if you have not seen Rambo 4, you are in for, like, a holy shit moment because of how gory and violent this movie is. I just have to keep emphasizing it because I understand the point of it. It's just to show, like, a more real, like, it's not supposed to be pretty. I mean, I understand the choice behind why they made it so violent, whereas the other ones were just, you know, R-rated movies, but this one just takes it to a whole other level. And it's, like, the sadistic things these people do. Then you get to see, like, this one was made by Lionsgate. And you can definitely, like, tell this is a Lionsgate movie. Like, this took me back to, like, the time and age where I'm like, okay, this is, like, you'd see movies like this. You'd see movies like The Condemned. just kind of these one-man, like, more gritty action movies of the time frame. And this definitely put me back in that frame, like, even, like, the first Expendables. I'm like, okay, this is kind of, like, the more modern action star, like, grotesque movie that you'd see. But, yeah, so Rambo's out there doing his thing. He comes in to play, and I was so happy. Like, I, like, basically cheered because these villains had taken these people, they were pushing him into a pit, and they threw mines in there, and they were just basically torturing them, like, betting money on who was going to die first. And then there's these other mercenaries that are in there too, not just Rambo, who's just trying to save this this batch of people who are just trying to help, you know, bring medicine and that to, like, these innocent villages. So Rambo comes in there, he starts shooting his bow and arrow at them, and, like, man, it is gory and violent, and it's super satisfying to watch, like, these sick people get their comeuppance. You're like, yeah, Rambo, go get them. Again, it's, you know, like, death and violence in real life, I guess that's, like, a whole different story, but, like, in movies, like, for a movie, you're satisfied, because I'm like, okay, obviously it's not, like, real, but, like, you just watch these villains get their comeuppance. It's super satisfying to watch, especially the horrible things that they do. Rambo does this thing, and then when he gets down to, like, the final bad guy, you get some super violent stuff. You get, like, I think Julie Benz? I can't remember the actress's name, but she was in there too. And she's basically, like, at one point, one of the soldiers tries to do something to her. Rambo comes in there and just, like, rips the guy's throat straight out of fucking Roadhouse. Although Roadhouse Dalton was just instantly, Rambo just, like, grabs his nails and just rips his throat open. I'm like, oh my god, good God Almighty! And then people's bodies are getting blown to bits. You get the final action bit. Rambo's running around. Stallone's still a badass doing his thing. The main general or whatever is so sadistic and evil, you just, like, want to spit on the screen. Then Rambo just takes a knife and just, like, slices his stomach right open. All his guts come squirting out, and he basically dies, like, a horrible death. And I'm like, okay, like, the guy's trying to run away. Rambo gets him. He just, like, looks at him. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely the best of the Rambo sequels. I know I've emphasized the violence and how messed up a lot of it is, but, like, this is one that, you know, it's more engaging. You know, Colonel Trotman isn't in this movie this time. You do hear his voice cameo at one point, but the actor, like, Richard Crenna, unfortunately passed away. I think it was 2003. So he's not in this movie. So it's really just kind of Rambo on his own for, like, the first time. He doesn't have Trotman around. Like, pretty much all his family's gone, to his knowledge. And then ultimately, at the end of the movie, he kind of makes peace with a lot of his demons and finally goes back home to Arizona. And the final shot is him walking onto his farm. And then you hear kind of, like, you know, the different Rambo music and such. And the movie basically kind of ends right there. It is a satisfying end to, like, Rambo's journey. Like, we didn't necessarily need Rambo 4, but after Stallone went and made Rocky Balboa, he's like, you know, let me go back and make Rambo again. Because, you know, Rambo was his, like, Rocky's his baby, but Rambo's, like, his second go-to franchise. And now he's obviously making Last Blood, which I didn't think we were going to get, but I'm looking forward to watching it, especially after watching Rambo 4. And I think this one is pretty good. Hands down, easily the best of the Rambo sequels, like, without a doubt, like, far more. Like, Stallone came back and he, like, helped co-write this one and he directed this one. And Stallone's performance is really strong this time around. It's definitely his best since the original. And he's got this classic Rambo hairdo and stuff, and he's definitely older, and, like, his age kind of plays a factor, but, like, he just has kind of, like, this mysterious attitude to him. Like, he brings the same, like, amount of energy in that he did, like, when he did Rocky Balboa to this one. And I just think this one's a pretty solid movie. I don't think it's definitely not for everyone. If you can't handle, like, more real violence, like, this will shock you for sure because of, like, how excessive it gets in certain parts. But I understand the reasoning behind it. And like I said, watching Rambo go in and take down, like, these soldiers was super satisfying. Because you just want to just spit on the screen when you see the heinous acts that these people do. Like, I think, like, when you get the more realistic, I think you can make it, like killers like this, and just, like, the more devoid of, like the more despicable you make a villain like this, the more I want to hit. Because, like, there's certain villains that are just such assholes, but, like, they're kind of fun. Like, an example is, like, Clarence Boddicker from RoboCop. Like, he's such an asshole, but my God, is Red Foreman so entertaining. Kurtwood Smith's so entertaining in his performance that you want to see him get his comeuppance, but at the same time, like, you're like, but he's so much fun. Like, these villains are not fun at all. They're just sick, twisted sons of bitches. and you just want to see Rambo just like, you know, really give it to them. And it is satisfying to watch. So if you like action movies, if you like really violent, hardcore, in-your-face action that definitely has a more realistic take on it than the other Rambo films, then this is one that you definitely will want to check out. I mean, I still prefer First Blood over this one, but this one is definitely like second place in the franchise, at least in terms of my rewatching. Like, I definitely think it's stronger than 2, and definitely think it's stronger than Rambo 3. So take it for what it's worth. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of Rambo 2008. Be sure to come back tomorrow. At least that's the plan for me. I'm going to be going to see Rambo Last Blood. I'll record a video on it, and I'll post it to YouTube that night. So, yeah, that's all I got to say. Thank you all so much for watching this. I really appreciate it. What are your thoughts on Rambo 2008? Once again, just let me know in the comment section down below. And looking forward to Rambo Last Blood. I didn't expect to get a new Rambo movie. I know Stallone had been talking about it for like well over a decade. Then he finally, I mean, there was just so many different plot lines that they were rumored to go with. Like, I remember hearing one where Rambo was going to fight like a genetically engineered super monster. Yeah, that was one I was cool. It was going to be like Rambo 5: The Savage Hunt, but they never went and made that one. But this one is just going to be Rambo. He's going after the Mexican drug cartel, so it's like a different location again. Looking forward to seeing Rambo do his thing. We don't get enough of these one-man action movies. Like Hard R, like the only one we get nowadays is John Wick, and John Wick is, well, John Wick's very different in tone from Rambo. I mean, it's definitely violent, but like John Wick's action is like second to none. I still think the John Wick movies are overall better than like something like the Rambo series. But it's nice to get some like hard R-rated action movies again, because I feel like that's just a market that's just, we're really not getting that anymore. And it's just like everything's all just kind of superhero movies or Disney movies. And you know, I enjoy the superhero movies just fine, but I want more. I want some other stuff out there too. So yeah, that's all I have to say about this one. Thank you all so much for watching this. I really appreciate it. Let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of Rambo 2008, and I'll see you all next time. Thank you all so much. Take care now. Bye-bye then. And next is Rambo Last Blood. So, all right. Peace out. Bye-bye.